Before Marvel Rivals and all the other big budget stuff today we see from Marvel, there were some older Marvel games that really didn't get much attention. Some were definitely a little quirky and maybe laggy or glitchy, but honestly, a lot of them were a good time. This video is not about the most competitive or polished game, but rather it's more of a laid back video about just some underrated Marvel games that maybe you didn't see when you were growing up or just missed out on. Alright, so for number one, is Spider-Man Friend or Foe. If you haven't heard about this game, it is pretty much just a simple beat 'em up where you play as obviously Spider-Man. However, there is a really nice twist on it where you get to actually play as some of his iconic villains. So you could play as Green Goblin or Doc Ock once you defeat them. There is a wide variety of boss fights in the game, and then there's also 5 different maps ranging from Tokyo to Tangora Island. Now, between maps, you can go back to the Helicarrier, which is basically the HQ, and there you can actually upgrade and unlock new abilities for all the different characters. There's also a versus mode. You can use the characters that you unlock through the story mode, and then there's also maps that you unlock. So in total there is 13 playable characters, and they all have unique abilities and skills that you can upgrade over time. They all also have their own combos, just like really any other beat 'em up game from back then. Speaking of back then, the game did come out in 2007. The only thing that would hold this game back is its graphics, but personally the graphics to me don't bother me. I did grow up playing this game, so that could possibly be why I look over the graphics a little bit, but it doesn't try too hard to be something it's not. It is just a simple 2-player action beat 'em up, and I will say I believe the key focus is being able to play as Spider-Man's villains. I don't really know a game where you can play to them to this extent other than like some card games or mobile games, but yeah, I would definitely recommend this to really any Marvel fan, especially if you're a Spider-Man fan or you even just know the characters. I really think you could have a blast with this one. And alright, so maybe you're not the biggest fan of Spider-Man, but if you like the X-Men, this next one is for you. It is a 3D fighting game with a story mode, an arcade mode, and a versus mode, of course, just pretty much like every fighting game. It has 24 playable characters such as Toad, Storm, Rogue, and Juggernaut, and plenty more. It serves as a sequel to the events of the comic story, actually, Operation Zero Tolerance, if you know what that is. It actually is 3D, so it has 3D stages, and you can knock out opponents into different areas of the stage. It was released in 2002 for the Xbox, PS2, and GameCube. It does have a pretty extensive combo system, such as normal combos, chains, air juggles, and launches. I definitely recommend this to any X-Men fan. I have had a blast playing this one. It's really just pretty simple, just like the Spider-Man game. You know, all these games, they are older, so they aren't too competitive, and I feel like that's what really makes them fun, that and the nostalgia factor. But it does bring in a lot of X-Men characters that you normally won't see in other X-Men games, so that's another good factor for it. And also, I mean, come on, it's an X-Men fighting game. It's practically like if Mortal Kombat and X-Men had a baby, it would be this, and it's just very worth it. I will say this is one of those games where I could talk and tell you about it, but there's really only so much I can tell you about it. You kind of just have to play it or watch it. But I will say, having played it, in my personal opinion, this game is very fun. It's a pretty good classic, and if you love X-Men, you'll definitely find some type of enjoyment for this one. Alright, so number 3 on the list is Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. I will be honest with y'all, this is probably the least heavy hitter of the few on the list, but it's still pretty fun. If you like the Fantastic Four, you'll probably enjoy this one. It's a third-person action adventure game, and it was created in 2007. It's single player and multiplayer. You can switch between all 4 characters at any time on the fly. Certain characters have fused attacks, so for example, Sue could create an energy field, and then Johnny could fill it with flames, and it effectively creates a bomb. And then along your adventure, you face enemies such as the Silver Surfer, Red Ghost, and Super Skrull, and some more. It is based on the film that came out in the same year. It's really just another standard action beat 'em up. They have it classified as an action adventure. I would consider it more of a beat 'em up, but it's not as much as a beat 'em up as Spider-Man Friend or Foe, if that makes sense. But it is another pretty classic. Like I said, there's not too much to it, really. If you like Fantastic Four, you'll like this, but it's not anything crazy or super out there. There is only the 4 main cast members that you can play as, but I would recommend this if you like the Fantastic Four. If you are wanting to get in the mood for the new movie coming out, maybe you could play this. And it is based off the old movie, so the character models do resemble the actors who played them, which is pretty neat in my opinion. I will say, if you did enjoy the movie, I do think you'll enjoy the game. It's just not something super crazy. Like if you're just a casual Marvel fan and maybe you don't know too much about the Fantastic Four, you just know bits and pieces, I probably wouldn't recommend it for you. But if you do enjoy the characters and maybe you saw the movies back when they came out, you would probably enjoy this game. Alright, so my personal favorite on the list, number 4, is X-Men Legends, and it is a action RPG. There's 15 playable characters ranging from Beast, Emma Frost to Jubilee and Iceman, and you can swap between your party of 4 chosen X-Men at any given time. The RPG features is pretty much leveling up abilities, unlocking new abilities, and then also different equipable equipment to boost your stats. It's a story-based game with a solid story revolving around Magma becoming an X-Men, and then also Magneto being the main villain of the game. So if you didn't know, actually this game is the predecessor to the Ultimate Alliance series. So I will say, if you have played any of the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games and you happen to like them, you would probably like this one. The graphics are a little worse than the other 2 Marvel Ultimate Alliance games, but I think it makes up for it with the story, and really if you love the X-Men, you will love this. Alright, so coming in at number 5, I did leave this one towards the end because it's probably the most known of the bunch, which is of course Marvel Ultimate Alliance. It is a 2006 action RPG for those of you who do not know. It is full of your favorite Marvel characters. There's 23 characters in the base roster, and there's more playable characters unlocked if you have the gold edition, and then some characters are actually PSP exclusives, such as Black Widow and Captain Marvel. And throughout the game, the whole story, you travel all across the Marvel universe to iconic locations such as the Helicarrier, Stark Tower, and Asgard, even Atlantis. There's multiple different boss fights, and you are bound to know some of the villains if you even know tiniest bit of Marvel information or lore. I feel like most of y'all probably have heard of this, but it is just a very addictive and fun game. It's what comes after X-Men Legends 2. There is a second X-Men Legends, and it's basically the same. It still has the action RPG elements of being able to equip gear and level up different abilities. You unlock characters after certain missions, that sort of thing. It's pretty much just another standard action beat 'em up, but it does have the RPG elements as well, like X-Men Legends. I will say, if there's any on this list that you would want to look into, it would probably be this one. It's really just the most well-rounded of the bunch, I would say. All the characters, you're bound to know some of them, and then the iconic villains. There's so many boss fights in this game. You make different choices, and sometimes it'll have different outcomes. The story ends the same way every time, but working your way there, you can have different situations happen from the choices you choose. But that wraps up the video. Those are the 5 games that I thought I should share. There is definitely a few more that I thought of, but I didn't want to make the video super long. If you would like to see any more of these types of videos, or maybe gameplay from the videos I just listed off, comment down below. I obviously know that a good bit of these are known, so really the goal with this is, if I jogged your memory, maybe you had forgotten about them, or if you didn't know about 1 or 2 of them and I did introduce you, then my mission was complete. And thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.